How much further?
Good morning. It's another beautiful day here in the Biersky Mountains, and today's a special day. Today is Sunday the 9th of November 2025, which in the UK at least means it's Remembrance Sunday. So today's hike is going to take you up to a memorial that I try to come to every year on Remembrance Sunday. I'll tell you a little bit more about it on the way up, but the memorial is to a Czech soldier who was trained by the Special Operations Executive in Britain, parachuted back into Czechoslovakia at the end of 1944 and died up on the mountain of Smrk behind me up there. Now, Remembrance Day is not a massive thing in the Czech Republic. You don't see people out on street corners like you do in the UK selling poppies. This one I got here took me quite a long time to find. So you can see it's slightly different to the UK poppy. So that's a Czech one. Proceeds from that go to Czech soldiers, Czech veterans, their families. Same way as it does with the Royal British Legion in the UK. So it's going to take about 90 minutes to get up there. So I probably won't be doing too much talking because I'd like to get up there by 11 o'clock. See if we can set up for 2-minute silence. But look around. What a beautiful day to be free. So the memorial we're going to see is to a man named Josef Biersky, and he was a Czech soldier in 1938 when Czechoslovakia was given to Hitler, and like a lot of other Czech soldiers, he decided that he wanted to carry on fighting. And I don't know too much about his story. I keep planning on making videos about it and then unearthing more information. Project's growing a little bit out of control. But anyway, Biersky ended up in England with the Czechoslovak army in Great Britain and volunteered for special operations duty and was assigned to a team called Operation Wolfram. And Wolfram were supposed to organise resistance activities, sabotage, try and unite local groups against the Nazis towards the end of the war. They were also supposed to act as a radio link between other SOE groups in the area and London. Now, just briefly, they didn't enjoy a massive amount of success. They lost the radio on the drop. The group was widely scattered in the drop. Obviously, they were parachuted at night, and if any of you have ever done a parachute jump, which I haven't, imagine landing in terrain like this in the middle of the night in using 1940s equipment. So the radio operator, he spent quite a bit of time searching for his radio set, never found it, but was unfortunately found by the Gestapo, and they tried to force him into a radio deception plan, which he refused, and they sent him to a concentration camp where he actually survived the war. His name was Karol Svoboda. Originally he was supposed to be Operation Anthropoid, the team that assassinated Reinhard Heydrich, but he hurt his leg or something during a parachute training jump, and his place was taken by Jan Kubiš. So they were up here in the winter, no radio, no way of communicating with London. Apparently they met up with a Soviet partisan team, but London distrusted their messages, thought perhaps it was another Nazi trick, so they never really established a massive amount of contact with London. They had no food, they didn't have their whole team. It was a nasty winter. In the end they ended up having to shelter with the family of one of their team members. They spent the winter with that family. In the spring they moved to another part of the country, finally linked up with the Red Army right towards the end of the war. But this is an interesting story, and they're local, so I'm trying to research more about Wolfram, and one day hopefully there'll be a video about it for you. Leaves falling like rain. Autumn's here. Autumn in the mountains. Oh, it's beautiful. I love it here. Well, as you may have noticed, it's quite hilly around here, and I am not in the best physical shape I've ever been in my life. So I stopped for another breather, another instalment about Josef Biersky. He was actually betrayed, and betrayal was a constant fear of the SOE guys. Every operation in Czechoslovakia faced betrayal at some point or another. And after 6 years of brutal occupation by the Nazis, the safe houses were gone. Everybody was compromised. Everybody had a family member somewhere in Nazi prisons, you know, so if the Nazis came along and said, you know, we've got your nephew or your daughter, we want to know about the partisans in the hills, what were people going to do? You know, what would I have done? What would you do? So I can't really judge these people. Let the wind die down a bit. It's a nice refreshing breeze. So Biersky was murdered, basically. There was a guy called Stanislav Kotachka, who by all accounts was a career criminal, general lowlife. He was wanted by the Nazis for robbery, burglary or something. German police wanted him. So he escaped up into the hills, joined up with the partisans, and in an argument over money shot Biersky and robbed him, for which he was hung after the war. But it didn't do Biersky any good. So there's a little bit more of the story. I've got my breath back. We'll carry on up the hill. Next time I need a breather, I'll tell you a bit more. Come on, who left this lying here? Whose is this? Come on, who dropped this? I know it was one of you. You know I'm going to find out. Who was it? Messy git. Well, here we go. This is what we're looking for. There's another information board here. A bit more information about the operations of Wolfram on Smrk. I'm not going to translate all of it now, but this bit up here tells us that here exactly on this spot, on the 19th of October 1944, was the murder of Josef Biersky. Exactly on this spot he was shot 6 times in the back, or a member of the parachute group Wolfram I think that's either Corporal or Sergeant Josef Biersky was shot 6 times in the back. Czech word order is very interesting. The murderer was the recidivist Stanislav Kotachka. Over here is a piece of information about a woman who they shot because she was giving information about them to the Gestapo. Again, not in a position to judge these people. I don't know what convinced her to do it. One of these days I might turn it up in my research. This section here shows 3 of the original guys, Vladimir Reznicek, Josef Chernota, Karel Karas, on the spot of the bunker on the side of Smrk, 1993. Wow, they look absolutely at home up here. And over here it says the bunker where they stayed, the accommodation bunker maybe, was about 200 meters from this spot in the direction of the peak of Smrk. It was deep in Smrk, in spruce forest, on the left of this path, so up there 200 meters or so. That's where they were hiding out, or one of the places where they were hiding out. Up on the tree there, some more information about it. Everything really on this spot. On the 19th of the 10th 1944, a murderer murdered a member of the Czechoslovak overseas army. Rotny, don't know, Corporal, Sergeant Josef Biersky. I wonder where he got that nickname from, Buck. Member of the parachute group Wolfram. And over here is Memorial Cairn. I'm not the only one that comes up here. You can see down there 2 plastic poppies. They look very much like British ones, but it wasn't me that brought them up, so I don't know who left those here. This is a Czech one. Again, not my doing. I don't know who brought that here. There's been some candles. And my one down the bottom there, which I will tidy away. I brought a fresh one up. That one's not done too badly actually for a year. Up here it's got Czech translation of For the Fallen on it. So I'll stick a fresh one of those up there with another poppy. Tidy up a bit, we'll be just in time for 11 o'clock.